Hey guys, it's Nina. It's been a while since we've last, or should I say, since I've made my last video. My last video was about Daddy's Little Girls, and first I just want to say thank you if you viewed it. Even if you didn't, I appreciate just feedback that I've gotten via email. Um, but this video for me is very touching because it's something I think that we all deal with. When I made my last video, it was about Daddy's Little Girls and about how we look for father figures, and because we have never truly filled those voids in our life, we oftentimes look for that outside of ourselves, and even in the selection of men um, or women that we choose for ourselves. And if I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me. I'm not the most, I can't sit here and pretend to be the most profound person when it comes to eloquence or, uh, you know, being this great speaker. I'm just keeping it 100 and being myself. And, I talked about that and how sometimes we can look for men or women to fill that void in our lives because we never had a dad, or we never had a sound family, or our family maybe was dysfunctional, or our childhood, we could have went through some things that just really, it kind of makes your judgment really poor, makes you choose the wrong things, and even date the wrong people. So I kept thinking, how can I follow that up? Because that's very important. And honestly, I really need to touch back on that, and I will at some point. But right now, I just wanted to kind of talk to you about, I wrote it down, so if I look away, please forgive me. It's new for me. Moving out of God's will, and how it always brings blinders. And you may not necessarily be, a Christian where you go to church every Sunday, or, read your word every day. I mean, there are no perfect people. We're in this world, and even someone who's been living for God for years, they're still stretching, they're still growing, they still have to walk daily, learning how to deny their own thoughts and choices so that they can do something better with their lives. And the reason why I thought it was important to talk about that is because a lot of times the choices we make and how they impact with our kids first start with our choices and why we make choices that we make. There's two parts of our lives. There is the part of our life that God has given us. It's definitely tied into his nature. It's tied into our consciousness. When you're getting ready to, steal or gossip or do something, and that little voice says, don't you do that. A lot of times we just override that voice. And so sometimes when we get into these relationships, or we might date someone, we see red flags. There's all kinds of things that pop off to us and show us this isn't really what you want. But oftentimes we push past that voice because there's that other side, which is a self-sabotaging side tied to our other nature, which isn't representing God in our lives. It a lot of times will say, it's okay to just challenge that voice. You can change him, you can change her, you can finagle this, you can make moves, and it'll start to make sense to you, so much so that you find yourself dating someone, marrying someone, sleeping with someone. You just are two different people. And for one, you never gave yourself a chance to date someone. And I'm learning that even now as we speak. So I can't even, I'm not a hypocrite. Anything I'm sharing with you is because I'm going through it, have been through it, or probably will face it. And I'm honestly, even in talking to you about it, I'm actually building myself up because we all face it. And this is something that I definitely wouldn't have having to touch on again because I did put my timer on. Probably won't, be able to touch it all here, but God has a plan for your life. He has a plan for all of our lives. We may not like his agenda. We might not even like how he goes about it. We might not even like what we have to deny to fall in line with that agenda, but God has a divine purpose for our lives. He created, everything with a purpose. Everything. Trees provide shade. pencils, paper, money. Everything has a purpose, and your life has meaning and purpose. And God designs things in your life so that it yields the best results for that purpose in which He has already invested Himself in. But what happens is, a lot of times there's that void in us, and there's a difference between filling it with a genuine filler, which is God, friends, fun, joy, laughter, and really mainly God. All those things are channels to bring even that much more of Him to us. But anytime we have false fillers, is what I call them, whether it's a boyfriend that is not on our same page and not going in the same direction, whether it's an addiction, which is really a stronghold, a place in our mind where we are just held captive to believe a certain thing. Anytime we kind of tap into those false fillers instead of tapping into that genuine filler, those things that really give us fulfillment, substance, that really just helps us to just transform and to grow more and more, we're bound for chaos. There's no other way to put it. We're bound for chaos. And so a lot of times, because we make those choices of, I can't deal with this, the pain is too much, it hurts too bad to let go. I don't want to be alone. I've been here, done that before. I don't want to do that again. We start to settle. We start to say, I can put up with this. I can deal with that. I can live with this. And I'm not saying that there are going to be times in our lives where we will have to live with things that are uncomfortable and we don't want to. But there's a difference between living with something that's uncomfortable, yet still aligns with the will of God for our lives, and just settling because it makes sense, or because we need a babysitter, or because we like the dong. Let's just keep it 100. We want to get laid too, or we got needs too, or he pays this bill, or he provides this, or I could collect food stamps for him. Let's just keep it 100. I'm not even playing. A lot of times we end up settling, and that part of that settling takes us so far off course of what God truly ordained for our lives that now we are all over the place. And the sad thing about it is, it's not so much just that it's damaging us. That's what I am learning. That's what I've had to learn. It's not just about me. It's about my kids. They didn't ask to be here. And although it may not be bells and whistles, and they may not have been, selected by lottery, or, I may not have gone to the store and handcraft picked them, or this and that, they're still my children. I'm still accountable to be a steward over their lives, just like I'm accountable to be a good employee, or accountable to keep my unit clean, because if not, my landlord will boost me out, okay? Whatever it is you're accountable for, you are accountable for your children's life just as much. Because God could have closed your womb. He could have kept you from bearing a child. Yet, in spite of the circumstances surrounding it, you are a mother. You are a father. And you're accountable for those lives of those children until they're at an age of accountability for themselves. And so the choices you make in those false fillers, trying to fill the void of your life that can never be filled through those false sense of fillers, will always, always cost you dearly when it's off of what you know for your life is what's best. And I'm not here to sit here and judge and say, it's easy making those choices. I am the last person that would ever tell you that, because I have failed more times than more. I'll just put it that way, okay? I felt so much sometimes I'd be like, okay, God, are you going to wake me up this morning? If I wake up dead, it's just understandable. I do get it. Or if the car won't start, I deserve it. That's how down and out I felt about the choices I made in life. So I'm not here telling you, oh, I have this formula. A lot of times speakers or people make you feel like they have this formula and they've just arrived. I'm sorry, but nobody has arrived to that place. God will never allow us to get to that where we feel we have been exalted above who He is, because we will always be in dependency upon Him, because He has designed us in a codependent relationship where we need Him to survive, and He thrives because of us as well. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful the way he's designed it. But only that dynamic should be for us and him. It should never be for us and another man or us and another woman. It should never be that way. And so that's what I really wanted this video to be about, was letting you know there's a place in your life that you just feel so empty. I don't care if you're sitting in a room full of people. I don't care if you're told you're the most beautiful person or the most handsome person. You may even have the best apartment, the best house. There is a place in your life that is hurting. God designed us to be vulnerable in that aspect so that it would instill and promote growth of a great relationship with him. But what happens is when we say, okay, when you run and run and run and run, eventually, just like a car without gas, you putt until you just stop. And when you putt and just stop, if you put the wrong, whether it's diesel, unregular, premium, whatever it is, it might even be, some people are so ratchet, they will put sugar in tanks. I've heard of ghetto stuff like that. Yes, I have. So even when you have stuff like that, resort to that, that car doesn't move, that engine doesn't move, neither does your life. Same principle. Neither does your life. So if I could leave one thing with you today, because I definitely missed you all this time. I definitely cannot afford to do it ever again. But if I could leave one thing with you, it would be to ask God, even if you don't have the greatest relationship with him, even if this is new for you, I know there's a place in you that you want to pray. You want to find out what's going on. Even if you can just ask him, what is this hole? Feel it. Because if you don't feel it, I'm going to fill it with Johnny Appleseed. And Johnny and his apple seeds are going to have me in a hot mess of a problem. And if you do that and just connect with your friends, connect with the community. My time is out. Connect with the church. Whatever it is, just connect, grow, love yourself, enjoy life. Because if not, you're going to find yourselves on the short end of the deal, and it's not just hurting you. Your kids are going to suffer. And I'm telling you, as a mom who has watched my child be hurt beyond repair, sometimes it feels, I don't want that for you. I don't want that for your children, because there's some things that you carry into adulthood that you never shake without the help of God, because someone didn't protect you. At least you can turn around and protect those who are under you as you being their parent. Till the next time, love you and God bless. Deuces.